Archangel Michael says, "On today morning a stranger will hand you wealth. Don't ignore this or you'll lose all your wealth, open it immediately." This is not something you should look away from or take lightly. When heaven whispers, when God moves hearts in mysterious ways, it is not our role to question or delay. It is our place to open our hearts fully, to receive, and to give thanks. There are moments in life when God's timing aligns so perfectly with your deepest needs that it leaves you speechless, and this could be one of those mornings. Type 444 if you believe. There's a quiet rhythm in the way God moves. Often unnoticed by the busy world, His works unfold through people we never expected, in places we often overlook. He can take an ordinary morning and breathe extraordinary blessings into it. You may meet someone who carries an answer to your prayer. That person may not know they're sent by heaven, but their arrival in your life is no coincidence. God works through the hands of strangers, through smiles, kindness, help, or even a single generous act that sets your soul on fire with gratitude. It's not about material wealth alone, it's about the peace, the comfort, the reminder that He is still watching, still caring, still showing up when you least expect it. There is no force on this earth that can block the door God decides to open for you. No doubt, no fear, no delay can keep it closed. Today might seem like any other day, but heaven doesn't always announce its presence with thunder. Sometimes, it comes like a gentle breeze or a silent moment when everything just feels right. The way your heart warms, the way your tears come not from sorrow but from being deeply seen and cared for by the one who created you, that is the miracle. When Jesus walked among the people, He didn't always speak first. Sometimes, He touched a hand, healed a wound, lifted a tear-soaked face, and looked into their eyes with love that needed no words. That love has not changed. His mercy is just as alive today as it was then. He still walks beside you. He still knows what you need. He still sends answers wrapped in silence and grace. Type 777 if you trust in God. If someone reaches out to you today, don't turn away. If your heart feels the nudge to speak, to help, or to simply be present, listen. The Holy Spirit often moves through these quiet nudges, guiding you into blessings you didn't know were waiting for you. That stranger may not only bring something into your life, but they may unlock something inside you too, a memory, a longing, a forgotten piece of hope. Don't brush it aside. God doesn't work by accident. What if you could unlock a secret brain wave that top scientists discovered inside the hippocampus, the very switch that signals wealth and abundance? Hidden from the public for decades, this breakthrough can rewire your mind to attract prosperity faster than you imagined. Picture the stress of bills replaced with financial freedom and new opportunities. Every delay is a missed blessing, and those who act now are already walking into the wealth you deserve. Step forward before the door closes. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate this ancient money wave and step into abundance today. Even if you're tired, even if your soul feels like it's been walking through endless deserts, even if you've lost count of the prayers whispered in the dark, believe that something is shifting. There are things moving for you that you cannot yet see. There is healing rising in the places where you once thought nothing could grow again. There is provision forming in the shadows where your eyes see only emptiness. The stranger might be carrying not only wealth in the way the world understands it, but divine reassurance that you are not forgotten. Maybe you've struggled in silence. Maybe the people closest to you didn't understand the weight you carried or the nights you've cried out for help. But heaven hears what people don't. Heaven answers what earth cannot. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be open, to open your hands, open your heart, and open your life to the gentle ways God restores what's been lost. The miracle might not come loud. It might not arrive in the way you imagined. It might not carry your name in lights or announce itself with fanfare. But it will be real. It will be enough. And it will carry the unmistakable presence of God's touch. In the story of your life, this may be a new chapter, the beginning of restoration, of hope being returned, of your heart learning how to dream again. Do not run from it. Do not harden your heart out of fear or past pain. Let God show you that there is still goodness left in the world, and more importantly, still goodness meant just for you. No matter what you've lost, no matter what time has taken from you, God is able to give back in ways that don't follow human logic. The joy coming to you doesn't have to match the pain you endured. It can be greater. It can be deeper. And it can last. If you feel like you're at the edge, hold on. The stranger coming may not only bring blessings, but they may be heaven's way of telling you that it's time to rise again. Let peace return to your heart. Let faith be your lamp. Let today be the day you begin to expect good again, not because the world promises it, but because God already prepared it. The stranger is not your source, God is. But the stranger may be His vessel, chosen just for you. The road you've walked, with all its twists, tears, and moments of silence, has not gone unnoticed. Each step you took in pain was counted. Each moment you clung to faith when your world felt empty was seen by the one who never turns away from you. Type 222 if you believe God is working in your life. Sometimes, the gifts from God arrive in the least expected ways, wrapped not in gold but in mercy, hidden not in palaces but in small encounters that shift your spirit. The person you meet today, the one who may seem like any other stranger, could be heaven's answer walking right into your story. God uses ordinary people to bring extraordinary blessings. He does not always speak through thunder or miracles wrapped in fire. Sometimes, He uses a soft voice, a small act of generosity, or a moment of unexpected grace to change the direction of your heart. You might not recognize the gift immediately. You might even feel unsure, wondering whether this is really from God. But deep in your spirit, you'll feel a calm. You'll notice how things begin to align, how your heart softens, how the weight you've been carrying feels a little lighter. These are not coincidences. They are reminders that God's plan is unfolding, even when you feel surrounded by silence. In the quiet places of your life, God is planting seeds that will bloom in His perfect time. The blessings coming your way aren't random. They are answers to prayers you might have even forgotten you prayed, whispered late at night when no one else heard but Him. He never forgets the cry of your heart, even when your voice trembles or your faith feels small. Your needs are known. Your tears are held. Your journey is sacred. Type 555 if you trust Jesus with your life. There is something deeply beautiful about surrendering to God's timing. You may want things to happen now. You may be longing for breakthrough, for change, for a miracle to sweep in and fix everything at once. But God, in His wisdom, moves with a rhythm that is rooted in love, not in haste. He prepares the soil before He plants. He builds your strength before He opens the door. He sends the right people into your life at the right time, not a moment too early, and never too late. The stranger who blesses you today may not know how much you've been waiting for something to change. They may not understand that their kindness is water to a soul that's been dry for far too long. But God knows. He places people exactly where they need to be so that you feel seen, so that you know you are not forgotten. Through them, He speaks life into the places where you've been holding your breath. Faith is not about seeing the full picture. It's about trusting the brushstrokes of the artist who never paints without purpose. Even when the canvas looks messy, even when the colors seem dark, God is creating something breathtaking through every detail. The encounter you have today, no matter how small it may appear, could be a part of that masterpiece. Don't overlook it. Don't dismiss it. Let it speak to your heart. Your story isn't over. No matter what the past has looked like, no matter the failures, the heartbreak, the disappointments, God is still writing. And what's coming next doesn't have to look like what came before. Newness is possible. Healing is possible. A complete turnaround, guided by divine favor, is absolutely possible. If you're open, if you're willing to believe just a little longer, God can pour out blessings that overflow beyond anything you imagined. Let today be the day you choose to expect again, not with fear, not with doubt, but with a heart that dares to believe that God still surprises His children. He hasn't run out of miracles. He hasn't forgotten your address. The blessing coming to you has been prepared with intention. Whether it's peace, provision, reconciliation, or love, it is on its way. And when it comes, even if it's through the hands of someone you've never met before, receive it with joy. Receive it without guilt, without fear, without hesitation. Because what God gives, He gives freely. Not because you earned it, not because you were perfect, but because He loves you beyond measure. His love doesn't keep score. His blessings are not conditional on how flawless your journey has been. Remember, Jesus didn't come for those who had it all together. He came for the broken, the burdened, the ones who couldn't find their way out of the darkness alone. He came for you, just as you are, with all your mess and beauty, your doubts and dreams. His love covers everything. It restores. It redeems. It makes you whole again. There is a sacred gentleness in how God moves. He doesn't always shake the earth. Sometimes He just stirs your heart. And if today your heart feels stirred, let that be the sign you've been waiting for. Don't brush it off. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't silence the whisper. Let it guide you. Keep walking with your heart open. Keep expecting the good. Keep making space for the holy interruptions, for the unexpected kindness, for the stranger who might just be the messenger God has sent. You never know when that one encounter could change everything. A stranger, someone you've never known, might be the very vessel chosen to deliver a blessing crafted just for you. Whether it comes as a word, an act of kindness, or a life-changing opportunity, your role is not to chase it but to stay open and still enough to receive it with grace. Type 666 if you trust Jesus with your whole heart. You may have waited a long time. You may have walked through valleys so deep that you doubted if the sun would ever rise for you again. You may have watched others receive, grow, rejoice, while you silently hoped your time would come. And in that waiting, your heart may have grown tired. But God does not forget the ones who wait with hope in their eyes and faith in their spirit. He honors the hearts that stay soft, even when life hardens the road. When God sends someone into your life, it's never by accident. That person could be holding something you need, not just wealth in the material sense, but spiritual wealth, healing words, or a reminder that God is near. Sometimes blessings come wrapped in conversation. Sometimes they arrive in a moment that seems so simple it's easy to overlook. But you'll know, because something inside you will recognize the grace. A mysterious 9-word prayer once sealed inside a private government vault is now resurfacing, and people everywhere are seeing financial breakthroughs overnight. Experts say it triggers a long silent part of the human brain responsible for abundance and wealth attraction. It takes less than 30 seconds to repeat, yet it's turning struggle into prosperity. Thousands are reporting cleared loans, sudden cash inflows, and unexpected blessings. Click the link in the description and comments before this secret disappears again. It may happen when you least expect it, when you're going about your day, when you're not thinking about miracles, when you're not chasing signs. That's when heaven likes to surprise us the most. When you've surrendered, when you've released your grip and said, God, I trust you, that's when the door begins to open. This stranger may not be dressed in grandeur. They may look like anyone else. But their words, their timing, their presence will stir something in you. You'll feel seen, known, comforted. And that feeling, that gentle peace that settles over your soul, is how you know it's God. That's how you'll know this encounter wasn't random. Type 1212 if you walk by faith, not by sight. God doesn't need grand stages to work His miracles. He often moves through the humble, through the quiet, through the everyday moments we're tempted to dismiss. Don't miss your moment by thinking it has to look like lightning and thunder. Sometimes, it looks like a stranger's smile, a helping hand, or a conversation that leaves you breathless in the best way. You have prayed. You have believed. And now it's time to receive. Receiving is not always easy when your heart has known disappointment. You might hesitate, question, or wonder if you're worthy. But God's blessings aren't given based on perfection. They flow from His heart, from His love for you, which has never wavered, even when yours did. He doesn't bless you because you got it all right. He blesses you because He loves you. And that love is unconditional. Let go of the fear that says, what if it doesn't happen, and lean into the faith that says, what if it already is? The blessings coming are already moving toward you. The stranger who will speak into your life may already be on their way. Don't resist what you've prayed for when it finally comes. Don't be so used to lack that you close the door on abundance. You are not meant to live in constant survival. You were created for peace. You were created for joy. You were created to walk with God, to lean into His promises, and to see them unfold in your own life, not just in stories you hear about, but in your personal, intimate journey with Him. The world may tell you otherwise, but heaven's truth never changes. You are loved, you are chosen, and you are provided for. And when this blessing touches your life, don't keep it to yourself. Let it become a testimony, a reminder to others that God still answers. Let your life be the evidence that miracles still happen in the most ordinary moments. The wealth God is bringing isn't just for your hands, it's for your heart, for your spirit, and for the generations that will come after you. You have come so far. You have survived things that should have broken you. You have held on when it would have been easier to give up. And now, the tide is turning. The clouds are lifting. What you've been waiting for is aligning with heaven's timing. Even if you can't see it yet, believe it's already unfolding. You don't need to figure out how it will come. That's God's work. Your work is to keep your heart open, your faith steady, and your spirit ready. Keep doing good, even when no one sees. Keep walking forward, even when the path is unclear. Keep believing that what God started in you, He will finish. This is not the end of your story. It's a new beginning. And this stranger, this unexpected messenger, may be the sign you've been praying for. Welcome them with love. Listen closely. Stay present. Because sometimes, the smallest encounters carry the weight of heaven. In the hush of this day, let your heart be still enough to hear the whisper of grace. Let the world fade for a moment so that your spirit can rise. Let your soul trust again, not because of what you see, but because of what you know deep down, that God is good, always, and He is never late. And one of those pieces may come through the kindness of a stranger, an encounter you couldn't have predicted, but one that will leave your heart changed, renewed, and filled with quiet awe. Type 1919 to receive miracles. You may have felt forgotten in recent days, like your prayers were floating unanswered into the sky. You may have questioned whether God was listening, whether your faith had become a whisper lost in the noise. But heaven has never been deaf to your cries. God has never stopped watching over you, even when the silence felt heavy. The waiting was not a punishment, it was a preparation. And now, the answer is beginning to unfold, slowly, gently, and with purpose. The stranger who crosses your path may not look like a messenger of heaven. They may wear simple clothes, carry no special title, speak no grand words. But watch carefully. Feel with your heart. You will know them not by their appearance, but by the peace that enters your soul when they speak. God often chooses the least likely vessels to carry the most precious gifts, so that we do not get lost in appearances but instead listen closely with faith. This stranger may offer you more than what money can buy. They may remind you of something you forgot about yourself. They may unlock a dream you laid to rest years ago. Or they may extend a kindness so deep and pure that it heals something inside you that's been aching far too long. What they bring may look like wealth in one form, but its true power will be how it restores your heart, how it brings you back to hope, how it opens your hands to receive again. And when that moment comes, do not retreat. Do not let fear convince you to turn away. The enemy thrives in fear and doubt, but your faith has power to silence both. Trust that God would not bring a blessing to your door just to watch you walk away from it. Let yourself be reminded of how deeply, wildly, unconditionally you are loved by the one who made the heavens and the earth. Type "yes" to affirm God's plan for you. Buried deep in forgotten archives, a 9-word phrase once hidden from the public is now transforming ordinary lives. Neuroscientists call it a wealth frequency activator, because it awakens a part of the brain that naturally draws prosperity. It takes just seconds to speak, but the change can last a lifetime. People are waking up debt-free and financially secure. The page could vanish at any moment. Click the link before it's gone for good. Sometimes, God chooses to move through people we would never expect. A stranger may carry the very word that will break the chains of despair. They might not even know they're being used by God, but their timing, their presence, and their message will arrive with perfect precision. Don't let disbelief rob you of your miracle. Instead, welcome it, embrace it, and give thanks. There is no such thing as just another day in the kingdom of God. Every morning holds the possibility of breakthrough. Every person you meet could be part of God's divine design. When you begin to see life through the eyes of faith, nothing is ordinary anymore. Everything becomes sacred, touched by the hands of a loving Creator who sees the end from the beginning and works all things for your good. You were never meant to carry your burdens alone. You were never expected to walk through fire without comfort. That's why God sends people to walk beside you, to lift you when your strength runs low, to remind you of His promises when the road gets blurry. You don't have to pretend to be strong all the time. You can rest. You can lean into the truth that God is already making a way, and He is sending help, sometimes through people you haven't even met yet. If your heart feels restless, if your spirit has been crying out in secret, know this: heaven heard you. Your pain did not go unnoticed. Your prayers didn't vanish into the dark. They were collected, cradled in divine hands, and now they are being returned to you in the form of peace, provision, and new beginnings. Let yourself believe again. You don't have to understand how it will all work out. Faith doesn't demand that we understand. It simply asks that we trust. Even when things feel uncertain, even when the map of your life seems torn or unclear, you can walk forward knowing that God sees every turn, every path, every hidden blessing waiting just around the bend. And what if the stranger that enters your life today is the sign that your season is shifting? What if they are proof that God has already begun to answer the very things you thought He had forgotten? When you meet them, pause. Take it in. Let your soul recognize the hand of God in the moment. Because that kind of peace can't be faked. It can't be forced. It only comes from above. You've been faithful through the storm. You've held on to the promise when it was hard to see. You've walked through shadows and kept your light burning. And now, the dawn is approaching. Something is changing. And whether it's a word, a gesture, a divine opportunity, or a breakthrough in disguise, this stranger may be the beginning of a brand new chapter filled with grace. God isn't just returning what you lost. He's restoring it with interest. He's blessing the places in your life that were dry and lifeless. He's touching the parts of your soul that forgot how to dream. The blessing might not look the way you pictured it, but it will feel like coming home to everything you've hoped for. A stranger may cross your path today, but what they carry is not ordinary. It is heaven-sent, prepared with love, and timed with the precision only God can orchestrate. Type 2323 if you agree and believe this is your appointed moment. You may feel unprepared. You might feel like you've lost too much or waited too long. But God is not measuring your worth based on your past or your pain. He sees you for who you truly are, a child of promise, someone who has endured, someone who still dares to hope even with a weary heart. And for that, He honors you. He steps into your day with blessings that only He could send. What you thought was delayed is now being delivered. What you thought was denied is now being released. The stranger may arrive in a way that seems subtle, with no announcement or grand moment, but their presence will shift something in your spirit. Maybe it's a conversation that makes you feel understood for the first time in a long time. Maybe it's a connection that opens a door you've been knocking on for years. Or maybe it's simply a moment of kindness that reminds you that you are not forgotten. However it comes, recognize the divine fingerprint on it. God doesn't move by chance. He moves with love, with intention, with deep knowing. The person He sends today has been stirred by heaven to cross your path, not just to give, but to awaken, to heal, and to speak into the parts of you that have gone quiet. This is not just a blessing of wealth. It's a blessing of renewal. It's the kind of wealth that brings peace to your heart, clarity to your mind, and strength to your soul. Type Amen if you believe God is working right now. Every time you chose faith over fear, every time you held on when everything inside you wanted to let go, every time you prayed through tears, heaven recorded it. None of it was wasted. None of it was unseen. And now, the reward is beginning to take shape. Not as a reward you earn, but as a gift of love from your Father who knows what you've carried and how long you've waited. This stranger may be the beginning of a new season for you. A season where closed doors begin to open, where opportunities begin to unfold, where your heart finally feels light again. Don't let doubt rob you of what God is doing. Don't let the fear of being disappointed cause you to turn away from the very thing you've been praying for. Trust the presence of peace. Trust the timing of God. He knows exactly when to move, and His timing is never wrong. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. Sometimes, the miracle isn't in what you receive, but in how you receive it. Let your heart stay soft. Let your spirit stay open. Don't resist the hand of God, even if it comes through someone you never expected. The answers don't always show up in the way you imagined, but they always come when you need them most. That stranger may be carrying an answer so personal, so deeply aligned with your spirit, that it could only have come from heaven. You've walked through storms. You've carried burdens in silence. You've loved people who didn't always love you back. You've hoped in moments when hope felt foolish. And now, the tide is turning. The storm is settling. The blessing is arriving. You're not being overlooked. You're being set apart. God has chosen this moment to reach you in a way that will leave no room for doubt. This is your time to receive, not because you chased it, but because you believed it would come. Not because you forced it, but because you made room for it in your heart. You trusted that even when you couldn't see the way, God was still preparing the path. And now, the fruit of that trust is coming into view. You don't need to strive. You don't need to beg. You only need to receive. The wealth coming to you may be financial, emotional, spiritual, or something else entirely. But whatever form it takes, it will carry the unmistakable signature of God's love. It will not add sorrow. It will not confuse you. It will bring peace, clarity, and a sense of deep assurance that you are exactly where you need to be. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are not beyond restoration. God is still writing your story. He's still unfolding new chapters. And this stranger may be a sentence, a paragraph, a whole page in the next part of your journey. Welcome what's coming. Trust what you feel. Rest in the knowledge that your life is under divine care, and what God begins, He always completes. There is a shift happening in your favor. There's a reason you've been feeling something stirring inside. It's not your imagination. It's not false hope. It's the Spirit of God moving you into alignment with something beautiful, something lasting, something worth all the waiting. This stranger could be carrying the very thing your soul has been longing for. It may not come with fanfare, but it will come with peace, clarity, and the gentle presence of God's timing. You won't have to fight for it, chase it, or prove yourself worthy of it. It will find you because it was always meant for you. Type 1111 if you trust in God's divine timing. You've been walking in faith, even when it's been hard. Even when your steps felt unsure, even when the silence stretched too long, you kept moving forward. That quiet, steady faith is not small in the eyes of heaven. It is sacred. It is powerful. It is seen. And today, that faith may be met with something real, something tangible, something so specific that you'll know instantly, it could only be from God. The person who blesses you may not even realize the fullness of what they're doing. They might be acting on a simple nudge in their heart, a prompting they can't explain. That's how God works. He whispers, and hearts move. He speaks softly, and lives are changed. This blessing may not come loudly, but it will come clearly. You will feel it not only in your hands, but in your spirit. Something in you will rise and say, "This is it. This is what I've been waiting for." And still, God asks for one thing from you: don't close your heart. Don't let disappointment from the past keep you from receiving what is being given now. It's easy to grow guarded. It's easy to believe that good things happen for others, not for you. But God is not limited by your past or your pain. He is moved by your faith. And He is answering now. What you receive today may be the beginning of a chain reaction. A word of encouragement may open a new path. A gift may unlock a door you thought was sealed shut. A moment of kindness may melt away fear that's lingered for years. What seems small at first may grow into something you couldn't have planned even if you tried. God always starts with a seed. And this stranger may be the one planting it. Type 777 if you believe something beautiful is on its way. You don't need to know how it will all unfold. That's not your burden to carry. God is the author of your story, and He has not stopped writing. Even in the waiting, even in the quiet, He has been preparing this moment. You've grown, even when it didn't feel like it. You've endured, even when the road was rough. And now, you are being positioned not just to receive, but to be transformed. This blessing won't just change your circumstances. It will touch your heart. It will remind you of who you are in Christ, not forgotten, not overlooked, but chosen and dearly loved. When it comes, let yourself breathe. Let yourself rest. Let yourself believe that this is not the end, it's a new beginning. This is the season where what was hidden will be revealed. Where what was delayed will be released. Where what was broken will be restored. And God, in His mercy, will use people, moments, and situations to make it happen. The stranger may be just the beginning of how God starts pouring out what He's always had planned for you. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the Money Magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. You may feel like you've come to the end of yourself. But that's often where God begins. When your hands are empty, His can be full. When your strength is gone, His grace takes over. And when you least expect it, He shows up, sometimes in the smile of a stranger, sometimes in a gift, sometimes in a word that speaks straight into your heart. You don't have to earn this. You don't have to strive for it. You don't have to prove your worth. You only need to receive with an open heart and let grace do what it does best: restore, rebuild, and renew. You were never meant to live in fear of the future. You were meant to live with the quiet confidence that your life is held by hands that never let go. Look around you today with eyes of faith. Notice the little things. Pay attention to how God moves. That stranger who smiles at you, who helps you without asking, who gives when they didn't have to, they may be carrying heaven's answer to a prayer you thought had gone unheard. This is the beauty of God's love. He never stops pursuing you. He never stops sending reminders. And today, that reminder may walk right into your life. Let it move you. Let it stir your heart. Let it draw you back to the truth that even in your most silent seasons, God never left you. He was preparing this very moment, crafting it with care, making sure every piece would fall into place in just the right way. So don't rush through the day. Don't let the noise drown out the still, small voice speaking to your heart. Slow down. Be present. Listen closely. God may be answering you through someone else's obedience. The stranger may be a vessel, but the blessing comes from God. And His blessings are never small, never empty, never meaningless. You may not realize it until afterward, but what passes between you and this person will not be ordinary. It will carry peace. It will carry healing. And above all, it will carry the unmistakable presence of God's love. Type 333 if you feel God is speaking to your heart right now. For some time now, you may have been walking quietly through uncertainty. You've carried your burdens faithfully. You've waited for change with hope that flickered but never fully died. The nights felt long. The silence often stretched too wide. And still, something in you held on. Something in you chose to believe that it couldn't end here. That there had to be more. And you were right. That more is already on its way. Sometimes God answers your prayers through people you've never met. He uses strangers because they hold no bias. They know nothing about your past, your mistakes, or your failures. They arrive only with what God told them to carry: compassion, encouragement, provision, wisdom, or even direction. And when they come freely, without agenda, without expectation, only with grace. There's a gentle power in these divine appointments. You may not even realize the impact until much later, when the words replay in your mind or the act of kindness settles deeper into your spirit. Then it becomes clear, this wasn't just a good person, this was a God moment. This was heaven stepping in through human hands. And that's what today may hold for you. It doesn't matter where you are, whether in a busy place or a quiet space, at work, walking through town, or sitting in silence. God doesn't need grand stages. He meets you where you are. He moves in simple moments. And this stranger may bring with them exactly what you've been missing. Amen.